Welcome to a video from digitalLifestyle.com. This is a new collection for the Korg Wavestate. This is a Fairlight Collection Volume 2. Volume 1 featured strings and vocals. Volume 2 is guitars and basses and a couple of drums thrown in there as well. I've got a similar version available for the Modwave. That's a separate download because of separate performances. So these are 47 performances specifically for the Wavestate. Later in the video I'll show you how to import those in case you've not done samples before. So these are all fairly short samples, but there's some interesting guitar type effects that were on the original disc as well. So the first one we've got here is a 12 string. You can hear that short sample. It's quite an interesting sound on there. We've got some basses. A nice walking bass, nice acoustic bass, and we've got some acoustic guitars. Some of them sound quite good actually, some of them a bit synthetic. So that sounds quite good, but you can tell the short sample memory was limited back in the 80s. So quite nice acoustic guitars. Right, so on to some basses. So we've got some probably sound quite good with it. Nice 80s style sequence on those. So we've got a few basses. A nice slap bass. We've got a nice sort of slap bass on there. And that's a bit of a synthetic one. A couple here, Bass GT, the sample names, so I presume these are bass guitar. That's clean guitar. A bit more noise on that one. This is one of the ones I demonstrated at the beginning. I really like this sound actually. It's a nice 80s chorus guitar. So what I did this one, I actually layered it. There's two layers. If I took some of the layers off, this is the single layer. So I put in one ear and then I put the other layer in the other ear. When you play it lower down, you get that really 80s lo-fi sample sound. So that's one I definitely like. Now I've got a classical guitar. Again, a very short guitar. Now a classical guitar, very short sample this one. Now I've got a classical guitar, very short sample on this one. And a nice clear bass. A double bass. There's a lot of noise on this one. And then one of the ones I played at the beginning, the distorted guitar. A nice short sample. It does remind me of the Yes or No Lonely Heart. Nice crunchy feel to that one. Now what I've included in here is a multi-sample. So this is a single multi-sample, but there's separate drum sounds. So we've got so here you can hear the separate samples. So you could use these in sequences or whatever you want, but I'll put a bit of reverb on there, perhaps a bit of delay. Let's turn that delay off. So this one is a drum kit that I've put together as a multi-sample, so different sounds on each. Different sounds on each key. I've tried to keep it in roughly the general MIDI type standards, so the C is the kick and clap is on the flat. So nice sort of clap sound. Quite like the snare sound on that as well, so you can have a play with that one. Some guitar effects. This is called Fall. Sort of that's a sample of. It's on the Fairlight 2 set. Actually sounds quite good sometimes if you play them lower. And then we've got another one. Quite good. And then a fuzz guitar, which is an actual playable sound. Now, a lot of the sounds I haven't looped in this because they were single shot sound. In this one I have looped. Incidentally, all these sounds I've brought in through the sample builder and tuned and got the right pitch. The ones I had were all sort of slightly out of different keys all over the place. These are all pitched and tuned, and then this one is looped. I think that one sounds quite good. Then a few more guitar samples. Nice and lo-fi crunchy. A bit more bright. Quite a good lead sort of effect there. Then a few more guitars. Now, I found these first couple quite synthetic. I wonder if they were sampled from a synth rather than from an actual guitar. Yeah, quite unusual sounds. This third one I think is a bit more of acoustic, and I'm pretty sure this is a real sample. So this third one is an actual sample of a guitar, definitely. Very short though. So this one is a loop that was I don't know quite context that it was on, but it's on the original sample as a loop. So there you go. And then we've got some low sounds. And you can hear a little bit of noise on that one, which adds to sort of graininess of it. And here's another low one. Again, very short. And that's the third one. Then we've got sort of a mute guitar. And you can hear the bit of high pitched whistle on that sample. And then we've got some high guitars. high guitar. Another high guitar. I could sort of hide that cutoff with a bit of tweak of the envelopes, but I didn't want to mess with them too much on these performances, so you can do that. So you could shorten that envelope to sort of hide that cutoff. Long distorted guitar for the short sample time of the day, and I think then here we've got one with a bit of patterning, just as an example of the kind of thing you can do. There's a lot more you can do with the Wavestate. I'm just getting into Wavestate programming. So here's an example. So it's Fairlight drums and the guitar and the Wail sound. So that's the kind of thing you can do using the wave sequencing. Like I said, I'm just getting sort of into that, and I've got multiple wave sequences on this to get those effects. We've got a bit of a pick bass, and that's sort of clean sound. One called pop bass, which is quite a harsh one. They work for sort of your Frankie Goes to Hollywood type tracks. One that's called, the sample's called Stratx. I guess is a sample of a Stratocaster. There's one called Stratx, which I think is a sample of a Stratocaster. It's got that sort of end cut off. And a sample of a Strum. Which obviously as you play lower, the Strum slows down because it's not a separate multi-samples, it's just that a recording of that Strum at the time. And then we've got a sweep, and I did a bit of sort of messing about with the filters on this just to show you what kind of thing you can do with it, with the Wavestate and the filters. So that's a looped sample of a synth bass, and then I put it through the low pass filter of the MS-20 model and put a bit of free running LFO to bring that in and out. Now to the synth bass section. Quite a noisy synth bass, bit of distortion on that sample. Another one that's not quite as distorted. So this next one, the synth bass, I thought I did quite like this. It's a nice deep bass. And we've got one called Wail Guitar. This is another nice guitar effect. And one that was on there called Zaw Bass. Bit of a sort of analog synth type bass, a sample, I guess, from an analog synth. And then another one which I just created as a loop just to show you the kind of thing you can do with it. So that's using the wave sequence for the drums and for the bass section. It's pretty straightforward stuff. Just changing the pitch, and another one there for the drums is just going through some of those drums. So there you go. There's a quick look at volume 2 of the Fairlight samples for the Wavestate. Volume 1 was all about strings. Volume 2 is guitars and drums, and I've got some other ones still in the works as well. So if you want to bring these into your Wavestate, you need to download the sample file that I provided the links for the download from thedigitalLifestyle.com, unzip it somewhere, and then you've got a few different options. If you're using your own bank, you've already got a sample bank, so this is the Korg sample builder which you'll need to transfer it off. There's two things you can do. You can open your own bank, say like I've got there. So this is my master bank. I have all the samples that I am working on in there, and I transfer this by just doing the send bank to the device. Now on this demo I'm using the Wavestate native, so I don't do the send bank bit. We do something slightly different. I haven't got a Wavestate hardware, I've got a Modwave hardware, and it works the same way. If you connect it via USB, you hit the send bank now and that will go down. So that's my bank, but you might want to add your own samples. So that's my bank, so you may want to use your bank and add my samples to it. So if you do, just go to add multi-samples, browse to where you found those files, or where you unzip those files, in my case it's in this volume 2 folder, and add those to your main bank. If you're saving it for your native device, then just do save bank for plugin, create a folder. I've already included this file in the zip file for you, but if you don't want to use mine, you can compile it like this, save it into a folder. I put it into the volume 2 folder. Then on your native, then you go into your sample banks and point it to the folder that contains that bank, and then that will make sure it includes it. If you don't have a bank, then what you can do is you can open the one I provide for you. So if you go into the volume 2 folder where you unzip the file, you'll see I've already provided you a bank. Here's the bank with all the samples in. Send bank. That will send it to your Wavestate, or just do the compile thing like I showed you before. But that would be only the Fairlight volume 2 collection on there. So what you could do, if you haven't been using samples, you've got my volume 1 collection or my Acc collection, then start a new bank and import all those in and send those down to your device. I have got a separate video on this on thedigitalLifestyle.com if you need any assistance with this, but it's fairly simple. I have one master bank and send everything over, but you can fill the memory up, so if you do that then you can create separate banks. And if you're interested in synths, then check out the AX73 Acc analog synth from the 80s collection that I've got for the Wavestate, and the volume 1 as Fairlight as well. If you've got a Modwave, I've got a ton of sounds on there, all sorts, analog, digital, different artists, all sorts. So check out those. Genesis, 70s string machines, have a look at those. Please like and subscribe. I'm trying to build up the user base and community around the channels, and I really enjoy talking to some of you on the chats as well, and we also have some live streams as well, so keep an eye out on our YouTube channel for that. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.